Hi guys, and welcome to Intensive Driving Courses NI. I'm going to do another test route. Working from Newtownards test centre. This is going to head out towards Bangor direction, but it'll go through Conlig and it'll take in a couple of the roundabouts and quite a difficult part in one of the test areas, which is crossing the carriageway. So as normal, you'll be in the car, you'll have done your show and tell questions. Your examiner will ask you to move off when you're ready. So make sure you double check your door, double check your seat, look as if you're checking your mirrors. Although it should already be sorted because you've driven the car obviously to the test, but it shows that's your cockpit drill. Okay, so we're going to move off, heading out, following round to the left because it's a one-way system in operation. Your examiners should tell you that anyway, but it's good to know. Travelling around the test centre, MOT centre will come up on your right hand side. Just beware of cars coming out. It's normally staff now anyway that bring them out and then bring them back round to the clients. You have a ramp, as you've probably seen in other test routes here. It says 15, but take it roughly about 5. It's quite abrupt, so sort of 5 miles an hour first gear. Heading out through the gate, normally about sort of 15. The ramp at the gate, folks, a little bit lower, so you can sort of take that sort of 10 to 15 in second gear. Jubilee Road we're into now, and an industrial type of area, so expect the likes of a lot of other learner drivers because you've got a bit of space to do various things. Delivery lorries, and you've got sort of quite unique type of businesses here, the likes of tile places, tire places. So you will get a lot of people who are not familiar, so there's a lot of late braking sometimes to be expected. This road as well doesn't have white lines on the majority of it, so you're just trying to sort of gauge where the middle is. And when you're coming around parked cars, remember car door width where you can, but if you need to go closer, drop the speed. Just further up there on the left, you'll see like a sort of grass area. They tend sometimes to pull you in there, maybe to do your first move in and move off, etc. And what we're going to do at the traffic lights on this occasion is we're going to be turning left. So they should tell you in good time. So checking your mirrors, obviously, indicating, because it's a left turn only, is personal choice. Now in this route, you'll probably be told to position into the right hand lane. So you're just coming round and positioning nice and early. And we've now entered Cumber Road A21. As you can see there, the traffic lights have a left filter arrow, and that indicates left only, so that's why we're positioning here in the right hand lane. Anticipating the lights could change because they've been red for some time. Nice and gently on the brakes, sinking the clutch when the shutter comes. In the first gear, always checking both mirrors as well as your interior for bikes that could come alongside you and filter. We've now entered South Street, which will take us down to a set of traffic lights at the next intersection. Normally down here, sort of about 20-25, there's parked cars on one side. As you can see further down, we've got cars on both sides, so we're preparing as well to check the mirrors and ease off. Because as the space restricts, the speed needs to restrict as well. Next set of traffic lights, we're going to turn right, so our normal mirror procedure. If you've got a car parked there on the right, just wait until you pass it before you indicate in case it looks like you're heading into said car park. Traffic lights turning right. Okay, in the first gear, if you think it's going to be more a wait than a pause, handbrake on. And if you're the front car, really you're looking to edge out and clear the silver studs, which is a pedestrian crossing guide for pedestrians, funny enough. So just remember, red and amber is the get ready. Do not move on red and amber. Wait till green comes on, and then green is proceed if it's clear. Heading out, no oncoming traffic, travelling now, and we're now entering Court Street. Depends on the vehicle. Second gear is quite happy for the vehicle I'm driving because you're sort of in the 20s, etc. But third gear could be another sort of higher ones. Anytime you've got a cyclist, folks, if it's not safe to come round, it's not safe to come round. Don't try and crowd them, folks. Stay a couple of car lengths back. At this point, they're going to ask you to merge over with the traffic on the right. So I'm indicating right just before the island, and that's showing then that the traffic that I'm going to merge in with, if it's safe. Following round, staying in the lane that you're in, unless you're told different. We've now entered round into Castle Street. The traffic lights at the end of the road, which is just past the fire station if you know the area, they're going to get you to go left on this route. So it's a left turn arrow again, so that indicates left only. So again, checking the mirrors, indicator, either or. But I'm going to indicate because I've got a bit of information that I can give to others. Turning left, always position to the left lane unless you're told different. We've now entered George Street. Just quite a wide road here, but still in the 30s. And we're going to be travelling straight on at the next set of traffic lights, and then we'll be at a double roundabout. So, slight incline, so the handbrake's going to go on straight away here. And again, just checking the lights, also checking to see if any bikes are coming up, so good side mirror check as such. Got a blue light vehicle coming up, so even if it goes green, I'm going to let them come through first of all. And actually, if you do get a blue light vehicle, check your mirrors, indicate, pull in if it's somewhere suitable. But the ambulance drivers, the fire drivers, the police drivers, you know, they're always on the lookout, okay? The worst thing you can do is stop beside islands, middle of roundabouts, etc. So, the two roundabouts, very, very close together. We're going to go straight at both, so we're going to use the left-hand lane. So just your normal scan and plan for any possible gaps. Just be wary of these two roundabouts because they're quite small, so you really need to emphasize that capital C for the straight on. Remember your signal to leave to give information, and the next roundabout is very, very soon. Okay, it's literally about 3 car lengths past this crossing. And we're in the Zion or Zion place if you're checking your maps. So again, heading straight at this roundabout. And one thing to watch when you exit here is do not drive over that ghost island because there's a solid white line. And it's generally there, I think, to let you position early around parked cars, which tend to be here most of the time near that garage. Now this road here, again, very, very wide, but we're still in a 30, so watch the speed. Try to build your speed checks into your mirrors, okay? Top mirror, left mirror, speed check, right. Going to position back to the left lane, so I'm just checking mirrors. I'm not indicating, because I don't want to look as if I'm pulling up at the side or taking the next road that's coming up on the left. There is a change of speed further out, okay? So you just need to keep disciplined in this part. And this road will lead out on 2 or 3 routes this sort of direction. And you can see the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit is in vision. So what I'm doing is I'm just checking around to see what the behaviour's like in front, beside and behind, and then if it's safe, increasing, because you want to show you can make progress where progress is possible. So we're on Bangor Road A21. And general rule at traffic lights, as your examiner will say, follow straight on unless you're told different. Slight incline, so handbrake's going to go on. You can see there I've left tyres and tarmac with the vehicle in front, and that just means that if they roll back, I lurch forward, less likelihood of a collision, and where possible, if they broke down, it just gives you an easier passage to possibly get round. New road, but I haven't seen a different sign, so I'm going to treat it as the same speed limit of the last road, which was 40. And this is still classed as Bangor A21, and it'll shortly go to a dual carriageway. So you'll actually see there you've got a central reservation. This time it's grass, but it could be barrier, etc. Lanes should get a good degree wider, but we're still on 40 until we get to the national speed sign. So don't be tempted, watch the speed, keep disciplined. quite an increase in general here. It's going to go from a 40 to a 70, so have a check round. Once you're level with the signs, mirror wise that, increase it. Now it's only to 5 miles an hour increase, but you want to show that, because you don't want to come across to the examiner that you still think that you're on a 40 road. So most routes and yards will have a dual carriageway section. The main thing you have to watch is it's very, very easy to switch off mentally, start to daydream. So watch the speed, watch you're not drifting, try to stay well centered in your lane. Other cars will pass you, try not to keep up with them, because it's very, very easy to go with the flow. We're approaching the top of a hill just as the car in front is dipping down. Within about 10 seconds they'll ask you to take the next road on the left, which is an off slip. So nice early mirror work, indicator on, early gentle braking to send the information out with your brake lights. And when you glide in, make sure you get down in the second gear and the clutch progressively to the top before you turn in, so you don't go in sort of under coasting. We've now entered Main Street, and this is a 30-mile-an-hour road. I'm going to pull in just on the left here, and this is where you'll be asked more than likely to carry out the emergency stop. So just remember, when you pull in, handbrake, neutral, indicator off, relax the feet. Normal move off procedure. Into gear, full scan round, taking in all observations, indicate if necessary, but make sure your blind spot is your chin hitting your right shoulder. And I'm not going to do an emergency stop here, but they would probably get you to do it roughly about here. So we're travelling through, it's a 30-mile-an-hour area. There is what's known as traffic calming, or some people know them as speed ramps. There's about 9 or 10 of them on this road. And the first one is just past the hill. Now a tip on these speed ramps, because they're like a square type, try to get the tires on the black border. So you're like picture framing them. And if you can avoid as much of the red, then you're avoiding the main height. So always imagine you're trying to get the 4 wheels at each corner of the speed ramp where possible. So again, I'm trying to line up here as if I'm trying not to touch the red with any of the wheels. Now sometimes if there's parked cars, you'll have no option. And because you're going to get quite a few speed ramps, I would just stay in second gear, and you're looking in the region of about 15 to 20 depending on the vehicle. All the test routes are sort of timed. Somebody's been round them and they've sort of thought, right, we'll go here, we'll go there. Let's say we'll have to wait a minute or so at this junction. They'll get back to the test centre and they'll go, yep, that can be done in a reasonable amount of time. So you don't need to rush, folks. You don't need to sit at a junction and think, I've waited long enough. You emerge when it's safe. Okay, that's the main thing. Always driving in coordination with the road traffic conditions. So when you come over a speed ramp, if there's another one, you should see the next one as you're coming over the one you're at. And if you don't see another one after yours, well then obviously you know that's it, finished. Sometimes the authorities will put down a red strip, as you can see across the road, and that indicates either a change of speed or speed limit change. Shortly we'll be coming down and your examiner will tell you at the end of the road, turn right, follow the signs to Newtownards. So it's a normal right-hand sequence, mirror signal. You'll see a sign just across the road there in the trees. And I've got 2 sections of the carriageway. So you've got a waiting area, just as you can see there after the second white line. So once I'm free with traffic on the right, I'm going to head out, checking the slip road is clear as well, and I'm sort of going like a 45-degree angle. And then I'm now going to be checking for traffic approaching from the left. This junction that you're in probably will require a handbrake. and it could be 10 seconds of a wait, it could be 10 minutes. It just depends on the traffic and the time that you're out. So if a gap's starting to come up, and as requested, where you can, always position into the left-hand lane. If you had to go into the right-hand lane, just say that you're going to move back over where it's safe to do so. So in the right-hand lane is not an issue, but try, where possible, to position to the left. So we're now back onto the Bangor A20 road, obviously now A21, I beg your pardon, now heading back towards Ards. National speed sign coming up, so again, don't increase the speed until the mirrors are level with the sign, and then, where possible, make safe progress. Now, if your car is happy 4th gear at 45, that's okay. If it's screaming for 5th, then go for 5th. It depends on the vehicle that you're in. So, you'll drive up this carriageway, maybe 1 to 2 minutes, nothing really apart from, again, checking the mirrors, trying not to sort of weave about. The further you look ahead, the straighter that you'll steer. Roadworks, 1 mile, always anticipate that they're live roadworks. The odd time signs are maybe left up after the work's finished, but always anticipate the likes of temporary traffic lights, lane closures, and things like that. Again, with your 45-mile-an-hour restriction, obviously on the national, it can feel quite slow, but you really do need to keep checking that speed. This could be a section of road where your examiner may sort of interact with you with a little bit of conversation. Some are quite quiet, some will talk away. Just remember, if you are being let's say if your concentration's starting to lapse with the talk, just give one-word answers, or you can just give a nod, okay? If you don't feel you can interact, well then that's not going to affect you on your course, on your test. A lot of people feel that they have to talk if they're talked to. It's individual preference. Now, coming into view shortly, there's a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. Just after that 40, there is an off-slip to the left, which we're going to head down into. So again, normal procedure, who's behind checks, to the left checks, indicator on, off the power gently, early gentle braking, and you try to glide in and get down into second gear with 2 or 3 car lengths to run, and this follows round into an area called Beverly Heights. Just on the left there is where you may be pulled in to do your turn on the road, if that's been the chosen manoeuvre. If not, you'll follow around in a clockwise direction. We've now entered into Beverly Avenue. And what they're looking for here is good judgment, keeping distance from your parked vehicles. And they will get you possibly to turn the next road on the right. So normal procedure, top mirror, right mirror, indicator on. If you've got a gap on your oncoming, turn in as you've been taught. We're now turning into Beverly Road. Again, probably lingering in sort of 20 or 20 something, so car dependent, second gear, third gear. This one just prefers second. A lot of open driveways, so anticipate you might have young children running about, pets running about, and stuff like that. Now this road that we're on, they could have turned you in a little bit earlier and you could do the opposite sort of direction. And it is another possibility for the emergency stop. End of the road, we're going to emerge to the left. Normal procedure. bit of a hill here, so it's going to be a hill start. And don't try to avoid hill starts, okay? It's far easier if you just show you're capable of them and just don't force the car. Now, we're going to fall around to the left into what's known as an on-slip. So we're just trying to keep roughly about a metre from the curb into the on-slip, checking the mirrors indicating to the right, but I've got a giveaway line beside me. And you move in if you can. If not, you can stop in that on-slip if need be. Okay, so it's not flow on regardless. It is, if it's safe, to the right, flow on, if not, come to a stop. So we're now back onto Bangor Road, A21, and we're going to sort of stay on this road until we come up to the two roundabouts that we used earlier on. Traffic lights ahead now is an arrow system. Be very careful that you check that the arrow's in your direction. A lot of people go on red or sit there in green because they're looking at the wrong light. A lot of cars will move out early because there's normally parked vehicles further down over the hill. My advice is wait until you see them and then show your examiner that you can deal with them. So this car that's turning to the left, once they get out of the way you'll see parked ones. So there we go, so we're checking the mirrors, indicating, and if it's safe, glide out. Earlier back there, if you can check in the video again, it's gone to a 30 because we're now coming closer to the town. I'm not moving back to the left here because there is parked cars further up just after the pedestrian crossing. So it's better to make progress rather than go back to the left and then have to come back to the right within a matter of 10 seconds. Scanning the crossing, nobody's near the button, so it shouldn't change. Now, this time at the two roundabouts, we're going to turn right at the second roundabout, but you can go straight on at the first one in either lane, depending on what's easier. So I'm going to turn right at the second, so I'm going to go straight on in the right-hand lane at the first, as you can see with the markings. So just waiting my gap to join. But look, I'm having to stay to the right-hand lane, so be careful you don't drift. Indicate to leave the first one. Again, position in the right-hand lane, but now it's set you up nice and easy to turn right as normal at the second roundabout. So again, this is Zion Place. Checking the mirrors, see if it's safe to leave and indicate. We're now sort of entering into Francis Street, and we're going to be doing a little bit shortly of the one-way system. So again, depending on traffic, depending on speed, you're probably ranging 20, 25 or so. So again, second, third gear, whatever's suitable for your vehicle. There's a bit of a merge point coming up just after the little island and the grass here, so we're going to try and merge over with the right if it's safe. So top mirror, right mirror, indicator on before the island, and if it's safe, glide directly over into the right hand lane, which now brings you into the one-way system. So we're now in Castle Place and we're now following round into High Street. Going to change over to the left hand lane, so top mirror, left mirror, because it's a one-way system, indicator will give information, and we're going to be taking the next road on the left just with the cars disappearing. This is a very, very tight one, so mirror signal, maybe go down into first for it if you can, and really work the wheel. It's more of an angle, it's like a sheet of paper of a turn, and we've now turned into South Street. Going to progress straight on because the examiner probably won't tell you directions here, so that's following the road ahead. So just remember, green is proceed if your way is clear. Still on South Street, quite a tight little bit here, so again, ease off the speed if your space is restricted. Two sets of lights coming up. The first set, they will want you to go straight on. Some examiners will tell you to position early for the right-hand lane, some won't, okay? As you can see, you can go straight in both lanes there, but some will tell you to position so you're set up then to turn right at the next set of traffic lights, which is what we're going to do. So your top mirror, right mirror, indicator for information if required. Don't go over your Ghost Island or chevrons. We've got a green light, so if it's safe to proceed in oncoming, which it is, we can then turn in. This is us now back into Jubilee Road, and this will now head back up to the test centre, where you possibly will do the Bay Park or maybe the turn in the road. Now the turn in the road's not done in the test centre, it's done obviously in one of the side streets, but those are the two manoeuvres that could still be on the cards. So just remember, you've no centre white line, so just try and keep roughly about a metre from the curb, especially on your right hand turns. It's very easy to cut the corners. Giving the cyclist wide berth there. May not look like that on the video, but it was at least 2 meters distance. Coming up to the test centre, you might do a final pull in just past the bushes here on the left, where you may be instructed that you're going to be doing a reverse park to finish off. If not, down to second, coming in, and that's you back at the test centre. The last ramp is a first gear job, so down in the first, over the ramp, and then if you've done your manoeuvre, they'll get you to drive into one of the spaces, so just take your time, keep it slow, steer it quick, bring it in nice and gently, handbrake, neutral. And folks, that is the test route finished. Thanks for watching Intensive Driving Courses NI. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with others.